Hi there, I'm Matt Farah, Group Coordinator for Group Luke_0115, or as I like to call us, Team Awesome. That name sucks. You know what? Just cut that whole thing. Our group has decided to do our podcast on the next big thing, and do it in the style of a film strip. Let's meet the team, shall we? Danielle Shoemaker, Hannah Witt, Kevin Ryder, Jordan Martin. And now, sit back and enjoy our feature presentation. You may now put on your 3D glasses.
Today we're going to be talking about 4D movies. 4D movies have been popular in several other countries like Korea, Japan, and China, but they are only now just starting to reach the United States. So what are 4D movies? 4D movies are meant to immerse the audience even deeper into the storyline, to make them feel like a part of the movie. Simply put, if someone is burning rubber or baking an apple pie, the audience would come in contact with animated smells. If you're watching a bunch of storm chasers, wind and rain elements could be animated. Let's not forget that if your favorite space character was moving swiftly through the galaxies, chair simulators would put you right into the pilot seat. 4D movies aren't really all that new when it comes to the United States. D-Box technologies have been around for several years in several hundred theaters across the US, which is a less advanced version of 4D movies. You might have noticed them in your local theme parks. Shrek 4D and Transformers use simulated seats to move and interact with what the characters are doing on screen. Tickets can cost well over $100 for a family of 4, and that's before dinner and all the fancy concessions. For movie buffs, it's a new and exciting way to experience movies. For theater and production companies, it's a new way to bring people back to the theaters. Let's face it, it's another way for them to make money. Paying a little more for a ticket doesn't bother me as much. You're paying for the experience. The big question is how much of a storyline is going to be compromised to impress me with special effects. I mean, 4D movies can and will be successful. In fact, it's already proven that it has been. I mean, I don't need to know what a Wookiee smells like, but a simulated ride in the Millennium Falcon? Sign me up.
The thing I will be going over is what's the next biggest thing in the music industry. The music industry is one of America's biggest industries and also one that is ever evolving. To stay on top of the game, artists and producers have to constantly get out new stuff, often creating trends in a way that can last years or just months. A few artists talked about what they see as the biggest upcoming trends, and here is what they had to say. Many of the artists talked about a revival of certain genres like funk, jazz, hip-hop, and R&B. So I think an increase of these will, a lot of them are looking forward to bringing it back. And in fact, many of them are looking to go back to different time periods. A lot of them talked about bringing back the 70s and then early 90s would be very beneficial to the rising trends. But they also think that collaborations is going to be the biggest thing ever. And collaborations have always been a big thing, but they think that by combining different genres, like a country singer with a rap artist, that new music will be out and even bigger than ever. But they also pointed out that more artists will become independent, and there will be a shift in the mainstream and underground. They said that the mainstream will start doing what some of the underground is doing, while the underground will be doing what some of the mainstream is doing in sound and production. And that's what I think will happen for the 2015.
One of the most daunting and time-consuming tasks for a writer is that of research. Spending hours upon hours scanning websites, studying videos, or combing through the pages of books to find the right amount of information to write a single paragraph or two. The challenge can be mind-numbing to say the least. So what if a writer could skip all the legwork and any piece of information they need could be directly downloaded to their brain? I know what you're thinking. It sounds too similar to the Matrix. Well, the idea isn't too far off. Over the past few years, scientists have made evolutionary leaps in learning how the brain processes and stores information. Also, in the medical field, they have used technology to give amputees the ability to use robotic appendages by merely thinking of the action they want to perform. So what does that mean? While all this is still experimental, the advancements seem limitless. And while we may not have this yet,
I know Kung Fu.
the future of research is peering at us just over the horizon.
The Next Big Thing in Science by Jordan Martin. We'll be looking at the process of photosynthesis, Professor Daniel Nogueira, his research, as well as the artificial leaf that he created. The leaf is a small piece of metal that can split water using the process of photosynthesis to separate the oxygen and hydrogen molecules from each other. What is photosynthesis, you may be asking yourself? Well, for those of you that don't know, photosynthesis is the process used by plants to convert sunlight into usable energy. It's been a dream of scientists to harness some of the trillions of watts of energy produced by the sun at any moment for many years now. George Nocera, who looks a little bit like this, is the inventor of this leaf. He is a professor at Harvard with a bachelor's degree and a PhD in chemistry. He wants to be able to use the same technology used in solar panels for his leaf in order to be able to store the energy produced by the sun. This leaf is a small metal rectangle about the thickness of a credit card. It splits water molecules with the same process of photosynthesis. It has a cobalt phosphate coating that can self-heal and deal with any damage that occurs during the photosynthetic process. The leaf could produce enough energy to sustain itself off of the energy grid, or our main power grid we use today. It can convert sunlight into chemical energy. What makes this the next big thing, you ask? Well, with the projected increase of the population, it is predicted that the world will need another 200 nuclear power plants per year for the next 40 years to keep up with the energy demand. Switching to a renewable energy resource could provide a better alternative to fossil fuels. The cost-effectiveness of a renewable, storable energy would make it easier to provide power to us and to poorer countries.